What is going on? Welcome to another Comic Saturday episode. I know it took, I think a week? Maybe 2 Saturdays? 1 Saturday? I can't remember anymore. Which Saturday I took off. But we are back. And step away from Blue Beetle stuff for a second. Next week we'll come back to it. A different I won't say a different just a different comic of Blue Beetle. But this week we're going to read from the November 2nd, 2021 graphic novel of The Joker, Volume 1. Now, it comes following the events of Infinite Frontier number 0 and the Joker War. The Joker gets targeted as the most wanted man in the world, but the Clown Prince of Crime is several steps ahead of law enforcement, and he is on the run overseas. Gordon is facing retirement, realizes that this is the manhunt of his life and the last piece of a storied career, because he's technically never really caught Joker, essentially. But what mysterious and deadly forces are also in pursuit of the Joker? So this graphic novel, it collects from the Joker number 1 through 5, plus all the Joker stories from Batman 100 and Batman the Joker War Zone. Alright, y'all? So, we're going to get into this. Let's go. It's a Saturday morning. Let's go. The Joker number 1. Cover art by Gilliam March. Colors by Toomey Mori. So that's some dope color. Chapter 1. Boogeyman. I spent a lot of time these days thinking about my last night in Chicago. The end of another life. I remember telling Barbara it was less of a goodbye party and more of a good riddance party. I wasn't leaving the city with the best reputation on the force. I'd gotten 5 boys in blue demoted for taking bribes. Got a promotion and a transfer to hell as my reward. Let Gotham deal with Jim, they said. Maybe those boys will set him straight. Those who dared to show cleared out early, but I lingered. I wasn't ready to go. The train was leaving in the morning, and I knew I didn't have time. I knew I had to say my goodbyes to my wife and my daughter, but I was glued to my bar stool, ordering 3 drinks past knowing better. That's when I heard a voice behind me. Jim, tell me this. You old enough to get your boogeyman? His name was Danny Ryan. He wheezed as he spoke, gasping out each word. I could smell mustard on his breath. His dad had been one of the golden boys of the Chicago PD in the days of Al Capone. But I hadn't ever seen Danny do much but nap at his desk. Boogeyman. Yeah, the perp you see when you close your eyes at night. The one who has the worst than all the others. I've seen some rough things, Danny. Here and the war. I figured you're too young still. There's a horror to war I'm never going to understand. I'm going to insult you by pretending. But at least in war, there's that knowledge that people have been going to battle as long as there's been people. There's a sixth sense to it all. I think I'm going to call it, Danny. Let me pick up your tab. No, damn it, Jim. Listen to an old fart a second. You might learn something. Do you believe in evil? Yeah, sure. You're so young, I can't stand it. This is all a hypothetical to you. You still think this is a game. That it matters that you brought down a few guys on the take. You're just kids playing cops and robbers. I'm leaving, Dan. I was just a few years older than you when I saw the devil. He was eating the face out of a 17-year-old girl. When he saw me, he smiled, held out a strip, asking if I wanted a bite. I tried to follow the book, trained my gun on him, and told him to drop the knife. He just started laughing. He threw it onto my leg and got out onto the fire escape. Never caught him. Never got another lead. But every night, when I close my eyes, I see him sitting there, holding out that piece for me to eat. What the hell are you telling me this? There's the law. There's respecting the system as it's supposed to work. Survey protecting ordinary people, keeping the peace. And I know that's important to you, Jim. I admire that. My daddy would have admired that too. But there's the law. And there's evil, Jim. And when you see evil, you aim for the head. Good night, Dan. I figured he was like the other old cops, telling me to turn a blind ear to the corruption. I sought in my fellow officers because we were the last line of defense for the common man. I heard that one a lot over the years, every time I tried to put a dirty cop behind bars or tried to throw a bad man off the force. It took me a few years to understand that. He wasn't talking about that at all. He was giving me a warning. And now I see the devil each night when I close my eyes. The Joker. Chapter 2. Call it a day. They're already calling it a day on the streets. It gives the attack weight and a bit of Gotham's trademark gallus humor. What do you call the deaths of nearly 500 patients, healthcare professionals, security guards in the deadliest gas attack in history of the United States? Well, in Gotham City, you just call it a day. A day. The death of Arkham Asylum. The reports say the gas bombs went off at midnight, and most deaths happened in the first 5 minutes before any alarm went off. It was an altered version of the classic Joker toxin formula. Vixen smiled, but they didn't laugh, so no one could hear it spreading from room to room. Only one guard survived by trying to burn the toxin out of the air, saving a group of nurses at a great cost to himself. Sean Mahoney, a man I denied a place on the police force 6 times while I was commissioner. I wondered if I judged him wrong all this time. They say Batman beat the police officers to the scene and helped disperse the toxin from the air. But Mayor Nakano directed his men to arrest Batman in lieu of there being anyone else to arrest. Unsuccessfully, mind you. The exact death toll is unknown. Mahoney's actions caused part of the asylum to burn, destroying all security footage of the attack. It is believed somewhere between 50 and 100 patients escaped the building before Batman arrived on the scene. The presumed dead included Jeremiah Arkham, Jonathan Crane, and hundreds of colorful patients. The most shocking news is the death of Bane. Overnight, makeshift flags go up over Little Santa Prisca and other Caribbean transplant communities in Gotham. Vigils are held and murals are painted. I think of the destruction he's caused in this city, but also understand him as a symbol of strength. Out of all the presumed dead, I believe in his death the least. I asked the city coroner to let me examine his body, and am denied the opportunities. That's sketchy. I got the call from the mayor's office 3 days after the attack. After Hari's resignation, the commissioner's seat has been filled with mid-level bureaucrats while Nakano decides on a new direction of the GCPD. They tell me he's been acting as a de facto commissioner from City Hall, and it seems to be working about as well for them as you'd expect. Nakano tells me there's footage of the Joker leaving the asylum during the attack on the city last fall. The going theory is that Joker planted those gas bombs before he left Gotham City, sending them to go off months later. I nod politely like the information is new, like I hadn't been given a private account 2 days ago. Nakano asked me to take a role as the city's Joker czar, coordinating with him and the acting commissioner. I decline and recommend that he rethink his position on Batman. That shuts him up. I don't think I'll be getting a call back anytime soon. It suits me fine. I tell myself it's because I'm ready for a life in retirement. I find a message on my phone from Harvey Bullock. He makes the pitch about going into private practice with him. The idea of spending the rest of my days taking photographs of cheating spouses makes me ill. I remember Sarah, my own infidelities. Good people can be weak, and I don't want to profit off that. I want to do something good with my life. Barbara tells me to close my eyes and picture the future I want for myself. But when I close my eyes, all I hear is laughter. And when I open them, it's not much better. It feels worse, like his city every day. I see children wearing t-shirts of his girlfriend, Punchline. Oh yeah, if you didn't know, Harley Quinn and Joker are no longer together. He has a new girlfriend. Her name is Punchline. People wearing cloud masks in front of the city courthouse shouting for her release. The young punks of the city have taken to making themselves look like clowns to intimidate their fellow citizens. For the last few years, at Barbara's direction, I've dyed my hair so as not to show my age. But it feels sillier than ever. I'm not a young man anymore. I don't feel remotely like a young man. I tell Barbara I want to retire somewhere warm, but I don't have the money to retire in my own damn apartment for more than a year or two. I can feel him laughing at me. At the last round of madness this life has dragged me into, I said I was done, that I wouldn't rejoin the force, that I would take care of myself. I remember when I heard the news of a new Joker attack, but I told myself it was in everyone else's hands now. I let myself go back to sleep. Sorry. What he did to Barbara nearly broke me, but she lived and learned to thrive. It's knowing that he played a hand in tipping my son over the line one last time. James had a hard path. He struggled with a deep and powerful evil inside of himself. He struggled so that he could stay a part of my life and his sister's. But in the end, the Joker knew he could use him as a weapon against my family. So he did. At the cemetery, James Gordon Jr. And when I close my eyes, I can hear the devil laughing at me. I lost him. I lost my boy. Mr. Gordon, I'm sorry. Would you please get in the car with me? What? I don't mean to threaten you, Mr. Gordon, but time is of the essence. I need to talk to you about the Joker. Yep, that sounds about right. Chapter 3, All That Glitters. This is some place you've got. Oh, it's not mine. It belongs to a friend of my family's. And that family would be... Forgive me, Mr. Gordon. I'm not going to answer that question. This is all very sensitive. I don't want to be exposed more than I have to be. Okay, sure. Can I get something to call you by at least? You can call me Cressida. Pretty name. It goes with the decor. I guess it does. What do I call him? That looks like Bane. You don't need to call him anything. I'm sorry, Cressida. I'm just a retired civil servant. Women younger than my daughter don't ask me to talk about killers in their family friend's mansion. I think we better get on to the point here. Of course. I'd like you to take a look at these. Where were these taken? In Belize a few weeks ago after the Joker's attack on Gotham. The private jet was found with its pilot shot and killed. It had been shattered from a private airfield outside of Gotham. Which airfield? Who was it originally catered to? Not a commercial, private airfield. It was owned by one of the family friends you see, Mr. Gordon. This flight was never meant to be on the radar of the government. You don't register your flights with air traffic control. No, we don't. Why are you bringing this information to me? I can tell you the police don't have these pictures. I stopped myself before saying, and neither does Batman. The people I represent think that Joker has reigned terror on Gotham for far too long. Rather than wait for another attack, we would like to see him taken off the board. And we thought you would be the perfect man to hunt him for us. What? You have more experience hunting the Joker than nearly anyone. You have been tortured in body and soul by this man. He has nearly killed one of your children and instigated the death of the other. I can't imagine how much you must hate him. I can't imagine a better man to track down. I can. We would prefer to stay outside the attention of the costume set the best we can. And I don't imagine Batman is available for hire. Fair enough. You can't expect me to drop everything and go to Belize, for God's sake. You're getting older, Mr. Gordon. We know you don't have security as you enter your golden years. Should you accept, in addition to all of our private intelligence, we will give you a bank card with no spending limit for the duration of your mission. And upon completion, we will deposit $25 million into your personal bank account. That all? That and the satisfaction that you will be the one who finally brings the Joker down. I was kidding. I can't even comprehend that kind of money, Corsedia. Corsedia. I'm trying to figure out how to say the name. You have until the end of the week to decide. There'll be a plane waiting for you at the same private airfield that the Joker took off from. The information is in the dossier. It will leave the country this Friday morning at 9 a.m. and take it to Belize. So you just want me to capture him and bring him back to Gotham for $25 million? No, Mr. Gordon, you misunderstood. We just wanted to place a bounty on the Joker, we would have the coordination with the authorities. We want you to kill him. What? I was the police commissioner of Gotham City. I'm not some kind of hitman. We believe your personal connections to the Joker and your experience make you a better choice than a hitman. Why would you think that I'd agree to this? Do you believe in evil, Jim? Yes, I do. There are people out there who believe that wealth is evil, that money corrupts everything it touches, but I think we both know there's real evil in the world. The Joker is evil, and the world would be better off without him. Your family would be intact without him. Do you want to end your career impoverished in a city he will attack again and again and again? Or do you want to do one last great thing and reap the benefits for yourself and your daughter? I can't. You don't need to answer now. You have until the end of the week. But don't keep us waiting too long. He's out there. Jim, you know he's planning something. A day wasn't the end of a story. It was the beginning of one. Belize. I remember hearing through the old Chicago grapevine that Danny Ryan committed a suicide a few years after I took the commissioner job. Razor blades in the bathtub, a grisly scene. They had found the materials from the unsolved case of the face-eating cannibal in his apartment. He'd been following every possible thread for years, to dead end after dead end. I guess at some point this boogeyman was too much. At that point, I had already started to see the face of the clown whenever I closed my eyes. I had started to hear his laughter. I told myself each time I locked him up that it would stop. But when I knew he was put away for good, but there was never a for good. And each time I got a report from Arkham, another escape, more smiling dead, I could hear Detective Ryan's voice in my ear. When you see evil, you aim for the head. Joker Holt in the Gotham Gazette. Joker's last laugh, Arkham Asylum destroyed. He just killed a random woman, and he's laughing about it. And each time, God help me, it rang a little truer. Oh, this is all about to get very interesting, isn't it? Chapter 4, Card Game. Have you ever asked yourself how much the rest of your life costs? I'm sitting at our dining room table shortly after the move in a small Gotham apartment trying to chart it all out. How much would it be to send young Barbara to college? How much would it be for the second child we knew was on the way but didn't know if we could afford? I remember trying to guess at the size of my pension if I could stay on the job long enough. Maybe rack up a little, kind of like captain or something respectable. I tried to keep calm through it all, making sure my voice stayed assuring. I wanted to tell my wife that I could support her and our daughter and our son through thick and thin. That they would never have to want or worry. But the numbers kept stacking up and I excused myself to smoke on the fire escape. I've always liked the cold night air in the city. Even in the dead of winter, it reminds me of how small I am. More than anything, it relaxes me, hardens my resolve. At the kitchen table, I had been weak. I had been thinking about the card I had up my sleeve, and it became necessary. My new partner, Flash, had made it clear that he knew a way to earn a little extra money if I didn't mind bending the law. I didn't want to consider it, but in that moment, I had been staring at the lifetime of bills and debt. Was it really so wrong to bend my ethics just a little if it meant supporting my family? If I picked up a few jobs like that, and maybe I'd be able to afford a nice place outside the city in time for Babs to go to school. But out in the night air, I knew I couldn't do it. I knew I wasn't that man. Not for all the money in the world. Huh. You took long enough. Not your most effective signal, Jim. You're telling me I've been freezing my rump off here for an hour? You should be prompt. You used to have a light I could see from the other side of the bay. Let's get inside. Jim, we need to have a talk about the Joker, Batman. And I don't want to do it out here. I lay it all out for him. Well, almost all of it. I tell him about the woman in the limousine, her strange, silent chauffeur. I tell him about the pictures of Joker at the private airfield. I tell him about Belize. I tell him they're offering me 25 mil to complete the job. That they're giving me a bank card with no spending limit. I tell him about the plane waiting for me at the airport. I don't tell him that they want me to kill him, or that I'm considering going through with it. I feel like telling him would mean I have to decide, and that I wanted to be talked out of it. He's talked himself out of particular cliffs enough times that I bet he'd make one hell of a case. Heaven help me, I wish I wanted to hear it, but instead I just hear my son's voice telling me that he's trying to get better, and then I hear Joker laughing. I tell myself that I don't need to make a decision until I need to, and keep that card up my sleeve. You want to do this? Yes, I do. The Arkham Massacre ripped all the wounds of the Joker war back open. The city is more raw and dangerous than it's been in years. I want to pursue this myself, but leaving Gotham right now isn't an option. Knowing someone I trust is on the mission would help me sleep better. Someone who understands how dangerous he is. But you didn't bring me here for my approval. No, I brought you here because I could use some help. I don't have the resources I used to, Jim. Please, Batman. Your utility belt has a utility belt. Don't tell me you don't have resources. How can I help you? First off, I don't like not knowing who hired me. You know anybody in the blue blood set with a daughter named Cressidia? They're older than 23 or 25. Not offhand. Me either. I spent the afternoon looking into it, dead end after dead end. I don't like dead ends. If I'm hunting the boogeyman, I need your people here in Gotham to look into her. I want you to know who she is and who she's working for. I can do that. Good. Second, there's plenty of information I can get after a few phone calls, but not without attention, and I don't want attention from any of the authorities. So I need my own intelligence. You want access to the back computer? You can put all the parental controls on it you want, but yes. I want access to all the Joker's contacts, former gang members at large, any international villains he's ever aligned himself with. Any aliases you ever seen him use, any places you've seen him alive. I want to see exactly how much uncounted time there is from the night he first appeared in Gotham to the present day. I need more than a corkboard, Batman. I bet you have all I'm asking for and more, organized in every damn configuration I can imagine. And a few you can't, okay? Let me think about how best to do this. I'm not done. I need to be able to reach you. You want my phone number? You're damn right. I have a feeling a makeshift bat signal isn't going to catch your attention from Central America, or wherever this road takes me. You know him better than anyone. There are going to be moments when I might need your insight. And I'd feel better if you had a way of keeping tabs on me while I'm abroad. I can give you everything you're asking for, but I need something in exchange. When you find him, call me. You can go for the capture yourself. I'll come. I'll make sure he's apprehended safely so we can bring him back to Gotham together. And you to promise me that you won't go up against him alone. That makes sense to me. And that's the only part of it. I'm giving you a chaperone. Oracle, are you listening? Yes, and I just want to put it on record that this is a stupid idea. Commissioner Gordon is going to get himself killed. Noted. Also, I want to point out that he didn't promise you that he let you bring in the Joker in. He just said it made sense to do that. I feel the weight of Batman's eyes, and I realize either it's time to come clean or it's time to play a card that I've kept on my sleeve for years. Are you sure you're not just worried about your old man, Barbara? I can't help but smile. I can hear the gears turning in Batman's mind, trying to guess how long I've known. In another minute, he'll be asking himself what else I've put together. It's good. He's distracted. But there's no distracting Barbara. Dad, I want you to come see me at the clock tower. Now. Wish me luck. Chapter 5. Rat Lines. When you get to the police commissioner, you find out quick how much of the job is pageantry, not police work. I've had more than a couple of mayors read me the riot act after skipping some high society function. It never mattered to them how many people's lives were at risk. There were people in tuxedos who wanted to shake my hand so they could call me personally next time their idiot kids found themselves in a spot of trouble. City Hall would always remind me of these were the people who paid for our officers' cars and uniforms. And of course, the re-election funds. I always tried to leave as quickly as I could without ruffling any feathers that mattered. But one night, I found a kindred soul, an ex-CIA agent working an advisory role to some senator who had been dragged along to some cultural event. We served around the same time, and he actually had a sense of humor that didn't make me want to jump out the nearest window. It was after a couple of whiskeys that he leaned in close and asked me if I ever wondered where the costume baddies got off to when they slipped off my radar. I said, sure I did. He called it The Network, a series of luxury getaway spots hidden around the world. They've been built initially for Nazi war criminals out of the Second World War, and in the following decade they expanded their clientele to the top players in organized crime. Not the public set, the private players, the killers who spent the last century out of sight for anyone in a costume. These retreats prided themselves on their secrecy, and to prove their worth, they would occasionally host some of the most renowned villains in the world free of charge. The idea was you host the Joker for a few months while he's laying low, and you can sell to your clients that not even Batman could find you there. He told me the rumor in the intelligence community was that Joker had been to about 15 of these retreats all over the globe. He telling me all that, he leaned in even closer and whispered in my ear, "You know who's funding it all, don't you?" I said, I don't know. I don't know. He said, "Look around, Jim. The call is coming from inside the house." Oh, pooh, Desmond. I'm afraid you're not here to spoil my fun, are you? I'm afraid so, Mr. Joker. The whole point of this little getaway was to unwind, get some sun and some exercise, maybe kill a few people without consequences. That is true on our property. You, on the other hand, have decided to kill one of our wealthiest neighbors. These people are not who will be easily disappeared. I'm terribly afraid that we're going to have to ask you to leave the country immediately. No, I don't think so. Ask was the polite word, Mr. Joker. You have two options here. You can get into the car, go drive into a plane, or I want my men feed you to my dogs. Oh, I love the imagination, Desmond. Very, very scary. Dogs with big, sharp teeth, eating me alive. Perish the thought. I think I'll go with the third option. There's no third option. Have you seen the news, Desi, my dear? We have. Then you know they're on their way. Who's on their way? Oh, I have my suspicions, but let's not spoil the big surprise. Needless to say, the attack on Arkham involved a few people the wrong way. You don't want a war on your doorstep, and neither do I. So I just moved the target 13 miles southwest. I created a trail my enemies can follow. We'll have the high ground from the road. You put about 20 to 30 men in the trees, and we can kill whoever comes. Your result is protected, and then I can take that plane. You want me to just give you 20 of my men? 30 would be better, Desi. But why don't you send over a maid service while you're at it? The corpses are starting to stink a bit. And maybe a tailor. Some of us have to dress for work. Make sure he has plenty of purple and green fabric. I'm particular. Chapter 6, Blood. Hey, kid. Oh, don't you dare try and pull the charm offensive on me right now. I brought you that hot chocolate you like from the diner on Avenue X. Let's go inside. Dad, you haven't taken me there since I was a teenager. We're going to walk? We're going to walk. I need the air. What, you don't like hot chocolate anymore? Don't be silly. Of course I do. How much do you know? We don't have to unpack all that right now. Dad. I know, my daughter. It doesn't matter what costume she's wearing or how she's daily altering her voice. I need to hear you say it. I know you were a bad girl, or you were a bad girl, and that you were Oracle, and I guess you are Oracle. I'm figuring things out a bit right now. That's fair. The implant in my spine I've been overtaxing the last few years, and the doctors tell me that if I push myself too far, it might not be effective any longer. So there's a bit of a timer on Bad Girl. It hasn't run out yet. Maybe that technology will get better. Are you in pain? It's okay, Dad. I lived with it for a long time. You can talk to me about these things. Right now, you're not allowed to guilt trip me for not telling you something. I'm pretty sure a secret crime fighting identity trumps pretending not to know about a secret crime fighting identity. That's not what I'm talking about. A few months ago, you told me that you were going to hold Bad Girl accountable for what happened to James. See Bad Girl number 50, Ben and David. That wasn't fair of me. I'm sorry. I was angry at myself more than anything. Angry that I hadn't done more. That I wasn't more open to my son getting better. I was lashing out because if I hadn't pushed him away, Joker wouldn't have been able to play him like he did. Not responsible for James dying, Dad. You say that, but I can hear Joker laughing at me every night. I can hear him right now. I hear him too. In my worst moments, that clown has taken so much from us, Barbara. So damn much. So why wouldn't you give him the opportunity to take what's left? That little bit of time we have together. You don't even know who's hiring you. For God's sake, is it really about the money? I'm not going to let you end up on the streets, Dad. You could write a book about your relationship with Batman. Hey, you'd be set for life. That woman, Crusadia, she didn't ask me to bring Joker back and turn him into the authorities, Barbara. She had me to find him and kill him. You didn't tell Batman that? No, I'd prefer if you didn't either. He's Batman. He's going to find out. Come on now. Because you're considering it. I'm not considering it. Years ago, after he shot and paralyzed me, he tried to torture you into insanity. And you still stood there and told Batman to bring him in by the book. And what good did that do us? Dad, I don't relish the thought, Barbara. I didn't have that kind of cruelty in me, but I can't imagine losing you too. And you know you're still a target that he'll have you in his sights as long as he's walking this earth. I damn myself to hell 1,000 times to make sure he never got to you. I won't help you kill him. I'm going to make a deal with you. I'll only go through with it if I can convince you it's the right thing to do. If I can't, then we play this Batman's way. What do you say? This is a satellite phone. It's invisible to all cellular networks and interfaces directly with Batman's own private satellite system. This is going to give you a direct line to me, and I will be able to patch you through to Batman when needed. It's also going to give you access to the back computer files that you need. I'm not giving you carte blanche. If you find something locked, I'm going to need a damn good reason for me to unlock it. Why is it red? So you don't lose it, like you've lost the last 3 phones I've given you for Christmas. You think I can't lose a red phone? That's why you're going to check in with me at least once a day. If I don't hear from you, I'm going to put the emergency protocols in motion. What? Is it going to self-destruct? Yes. But these are the files going you're going to want to read first. All the people killed in the A-Day attack, some of them had extraordinarily dangerous families and friends. I'm going to bet you right now that this woman Crusader has her own ties to Arkham. But she's going to be the beginning, Dad, and that's why this is all so dangerous. The criminal underworld doesn't have rules, but it does have norms. You don't kill each other. You don't kill other captured members of the underworld unless they've wronged you. This attack means Joker is going to be a target for retaliation. The people coming for him aren't going to care who gets caught in the crossfire. Hooper County, Texas. Thank you all for coming back to the compound at such short notice. As you all know, my baby brother Billy got snatched by the authorities some 30 years back. He took the fall for an earlier messy work before we got the money to keep our pre-delications sorted. That's why I keep this seat here empty. They locked him up in Arkham for life, and I've seen to it with our great fortune that he lived there comfortably. Until some rodeo clown decided to gas the damn place and kill my baby brother in his sleep with no chance to defend himself. Now this is a matter of honor for the Sampson family, and you all know how we settle things down here in Texas. I want you to find that clown and bring him to me, and then I'm going to cook him and eat him. Santa Prisca. The venom is reacting positively with her blood, as we hoped. Her condition is holding up well. Translated from Spanish, Ben and David. Asterix. Can you hear us? Yes. Do you know your enemy? Joker. Ooh, a female Bane. We believe Mr. Gordon will be on the flight tomorrow morning, Gotham City. You have done good work, Miss Clark. Your family name may finally be cleared in our ledgers. Thank you. I'm honored by the trust you have put in me. In the meantime, you will retake your family's seat on our council as we look to solve this city's clown problem once and for all. The Joker. She is now part of the Court of Owls. Oh, snap. Oh, that's no good. Chapter 7. One Bad Day. I'm ashamed to admit it, but there's still nights when it comes back to me. That night in Amusement Mile. I can feel the leather of the collar dig into my neck. I can feel the cold night air on my naked body. I can smell the sweat off the circus show act, drugged up into a frenzy, dragging me towards his throne. I remember the panic rising in my chest as I tried to grapple with what was happening around me. I asked Delirious, what was I doing there? And then the voice of the devil responded, Doing? You're doing what any sane man in your appalling circumstances would do. You're going mad. And for a few moments I actually believed him. It was hard not to. That's the trick to the Joker. Always feels like if he knows what you're thinking, that he can say the words before they come out of your mind. When he looks at you with his shark eyes, they cut through you to the bone. You feel transparent and small, and his cruel lips begin to turn up, and he says everything you never wanted anyone to say. When you start to break, that's when the laughter takes a hold of him, and the sound of it destroys you. The self-satisfaction and the cruelty of it all. When it all started, I didn't take him seriously, though. None of us did. I thought he was a distraction from the important work I was doing with Batman and Harvey Dent. We were fighting corruption and the stronghold of organized crime. Here was a psychotic clown who seemed to want attention more than anything else. I used to get angry when Batman would prioritize the criminals with gimmicks over the ones I thought were real danger to the city. But time would change that. After that night in Amusement Mile, it was never the same. Joker had an agenda that night. He wanted to prove to Batman that one bad day could turn even the most sane person in Gotham insane. And in a way, he failed. I think he wanted to leave me a gibbering mess, but I wasn't mad. I was able to pull myself together enough to show Batman that Joker hadn't broken me. And in time, I would show my daughter the same. I would be able to be the rock they needed me to be. But forever after that, at that night, when I closed my eyes, I could see him waiting for me. I could hear him laughing. I'm glad to see you, Mr. Gordon. I wish I could say the same to you, Crusadia. This all has me a bit unnerved, if I'm being truthfully honest. I have the utmost confidence in you and your abilities. We all do. We've gathered some limited intelligence on the ground in Belize. There are a number of off-the-book resorts in the region, and we suggest you begin there. My man will fly you to the landing strip where Joker arrived. We'll expect you to fly commercially from Belize, but if you feel you need to move between countries unseen, call the numbers in the dossier and we'll do our best to arrange it. Weapons will be more difficult. I figure I'll be able to see to that myself. For now, I have a handgun in my suitcase. Very good, Mr. Gordon. This is the bank card we promised. You can withdraw any amount, charge any amount. What if I took out the full 25 million and just retreated myself to a nice vacation? I don't know, Mr. Gordon. What if you did? Well, you're a good man. We trust you to do the job you're being hired to do. But I do hope that you treat yourself a little. Get the big room with the view, buy yourself some nice clothes. We have deep pockets and feel our interests are best served with you comfortable. So get comfortable. There's a bottle of champagne chilling on the board. The flight will be about 5 hours and then the hunt can begin. Bon voyage and happy hunting. You're not going to say a damn thing to me this whole flight, are you? I figured as much. How does this damn thing work? Wheels up. Love you, kid. Keep an eye on me. Sir, yes, sir. Christina, did you get the tracker on the plane? Yes. And the car? Yes. You know this isn't fair. You're going to help me interpret the data, Steph. That's not as cool as what she's doing. Less likely to get you killed, too. Now, Cass, she's on the move. Get in position. In position now. Okay. Now let's see who you really are. Cressetia. Chapter 8. Gut work. You find shortcuts and streamline your process. You begin to sort the information differently. It started for me back on homicide in Chicago. You start to see the different ways people kill and die, and you can start grouping them together. There's a wrong way to do it, a lazy way to do it. I remember seeing another detective leap past all the evidence on domestic homicide to finger their husband, because it almost always the husband, and he didn't want to do the extra work. I figured out it was the manager of the club she'd been working at, because she'd been cautious for weeks trying to cover her tracks. She was worried she was going to die, and that worry was directed outward, not in the home. Every murder is typically a statement. It sends a message. It says, I hate women, I hate myself, I'm scared, I want people to notice me. You spend enough time doing the job, you start to get the feel of what's being said in a crime scene. You start to get a gut feeling of the sort of person who's saying it. And then there are the exceptions to the rule. Joker kills like it's a punctuation. It accents and defines everything else he says. It's how he communicates that people need to take him seriously, despite him dressing like a clown, acting like a fool. It's a deliberate choice. Every time it doesn't come from bloodlust. It's a part of the performance. And that is what makes it so difficult to find him during his inactive periods. Victims of a typical serial killer are usually important to the assailant in some way. They think they love them or they think they hate them. Maybe they're not specifically important. They just represent a sort of person who invokes a strong feeling in the killer. But there's usually a reason. And most importantly, there's usually some kind of compulsion to kill again. The thrill of the crime is addictive to them, whether it's the hunt or the kill itself or what they take from the victim. They can't stop themselves from doing it again and again until they're captured or killed. But then there's Joker. We had a profiler from the FBI right about the time everyone in Gotham realized they needed to be a lot more scared of clowns. She laid out her interpretation of Joker in detail, pointing out similarities between all of Joker's victims and his latest crime sprees. I remember being suspicious because these new victims had so little in common with the people he targeted before. But I hadn't been made commissioner yet, so the agents ignored my warning that something was off. He ended up leading the whole team into a death trap at a balloon factory. Thankfully, Batman had put it together before the profiler, and only one agent's file was lost. Which is all to say that if I knew how to find Joker when he wasn't being a Joker, I would have done it years ago. I've always thought of it as him in hibernation. I picture it sometimes. What it would be like to see him when he has no one to perform to, no one to play off of. I kind of just picture him sitting vacant, not smiling, his eyes dead, just resting and waiting until whatever clicks over in his brain and he decides to blow up a circus. So that's where my first gut feeling about the case comes to play. If the Joker is at one of these resorts, the performance hasn't ended. He has an audience that has invited him there to be the Joker and he needs to play his part, which means somewhere out there he's testing the limits of what those resorts can hide. Which means that if he's in Belize or he's still in Belize, there are going to be people who have gone missing. And then there's my second gut feeling about the case, which isn't about him, but about the world he's traveling in. When the wealthy and powerful are covering their tracks, they are usually covering their tracks from the wealthy and powerful. Everyone else is more or less invisible to them, even if those people change their sheets and pour their drinks every day. The people running these resorts, they'd be next to impossible to bring to justice in court of law. They're paid off the right people for that, and they can kill or silence anyone trying to expose them to the media. But service people talk, and they talk even more freely when you've just bought them a few expensive bottles of liquor, and you're letting them make fun of your elementary school level Spanish. And even then, I only get rumors. I hear about one place up in the mountains near the Guatemalan border, a private resort they don't dare name. And I see them paint in their faces as they tell me that they won't say it anymore. But that's all I need to hear to keep digging. So much of the job is just people. Most of the time, if you know what you're doing, you can get all the information you need without anyone realizing what you're after. Like for instance, you might hear about a missing businessman with a house up in the mountains near where this resort nobody will talk about supposedly is, and how the local authorities just go quiet when they're asked. There are a million possible answers to why that might be the case, but sometimes you just have to follow those gut feelings and see where they take you. Which is why I haven't let myself think about the reason I'm actually here or what I'll do the moment I find him. I told Barbara I will let her know. I will let her make her case. This is a decision I'm going to need to make myself, but I'm not going to have to make it yet. I'll follow a few more dead ends, and then I'll find a place where he was a month ago. Start piecing together where he'll go next. I'm not going to have to make a decision for a while yet. I feel that one too. Right in my gut. ¿Quién es? Sorry, my Spanish isn't too strong. I was just hoping to ask a few questions. I'm looking for an old friend of mine. Jimbo, is that really you? Jim pulls out his gun. Guns down, everyone. Guns down. That's an old pal of mine from Gotham City. Oh, the fun we used to have. I think this is just... or get off the pot moment, Jim. There we go, see? We're all friends here. Oh, Jimmy boy. You showed up just in time. This sort of thing's all too grisly without an audience, you know, and love. The hell are you talking about? See, Jim, I don't know if you're aware, but a few weeks ago, somebody gassed Arkham Asylum and blew half the place up. I know you did. But you see, that's the darnest thing, Jim. I didn't. Someone just wanted everyone to think I did. And not everybody's coming to try and kill me. And you're just in time for the fun. They just took out our men in the trees, and they're coming up the hill now. Keep that gun drawn, Jimbo. You're gonna need it. Ooh. All right, y'all. What do y'all think about that? That was actually the Joker, Volume 1. And I read chapter 1 through 8. We still have 5 more chapters left. I'm going to just stop. I'm going to break it down for the next following comic Saturday. What do y'all think? This is an intense story. So someone's trying to blame the Joker for something the Joker did not do. Huh. Interesting. But yeah, y'all. Check me out. You know, I got a Facebook page. The Mellow Podcast has now a Facebook page. So go check me out. I've been dropping trailers and stuff like that. Information about all the trailers that passed this past week. I love it. The Flash trailer was the greatest trailer I've ever seen. Not ever seen, but it was awesome. Yeah, go check me out. I'll drop the link in the description. Hit that YouTube MFG at MFG22. Hit that twitch.tv/mellowfellowgaming, one word, no spaces. But yeah, as you guys always know, always and forever, one love. Peace.